too much unless I'm going out at night, maybe. Right now, I guess t-shirt and tights for springtime. I don't like anything that's too branded, I guess. I usually either have like a band t-shirt or something that just has a graphic on it that's sort of discreet. It's a Harley Davidson t-shirt. I got it at a thrift store a long time ago. I think that they're pretty important. I have a few friends that write for music blogs, and I definitely pay attention to what they write about.
A música é constante. Você anda na rua, você vê gente escutando coisa nova. É que hoje em dia não tem como ficar por fora, né, do que tá rolando de música. Milhões de blogs. Tá fácil. O próprio MySpace já diz muita coisa. Tá ali pra todo mundo. Democratizou, virou a rádio. A rádio de hoje em dia. E você fica viciada nessa historinha de informação. Todo dia parece que a primeira coisa que você faz entra na internet pra saber o que tá rolando, o que tá acontecendo de novo. Ao mesmo tempo tem muita banda, mas é mais fácil pra eles se tornarem conhecidos.
Playing music with your friends is pretty fun, and we've managed to keep doing that, over the years. We've always used our friends and played with our friends and made music that we liked.
Once we recorded a couple songs, we thought they were pretty good. I don't know, and so we were like, hey, let's do this. Let's form a band, kind of, And so it just kind of snowballed and got its own momentum, and then it seemed obvious that was the right thing to do.
Dois amigos da faculdade que dia resolveram largar tudo e viver de música. You had a big support from the music blogging community. How important was that for you?
These days, you can get music out without having to have a lot of money behind you and without having to have a corporation that specializes in getting music out behind you. So for us, I don't think we'd be in a band that anyone had heard of without the fact that blogs exist and that they will make your music get out into the world.
Yeah, they're kind of like radio stations, for bands that aren't actually on the real radio. So that's the most important thing that can happen for a band is that people hear you.
Blogs feel pretty democratic. It's I feel like most bloggers will give anything a chance, and if they like it, they'll write about it. If they hate it, they'll write about it. But they're just reacting to music the way that people who love music, real music fans, do.
You were supported by lineup of musicians. They rotate a lot.
We also have a lot of people that collaborate with us when we record or that play with us on certain shows that don't always, and then we have people that kind of play with us almost all the time at this point.
So who are they? How come you find them?
There's one of them right over there. That's Keith. Look at that guy. That's our bass player.
How do you call your new album? I couldn't pronounce it. Grrr.
Yeah,
I couldn't pronounce it. I was trying to put it in my head and grrr. What does it mean?
It's a noise that it's a sound that an animal makes.
It's like an animal anger or...
Not necessarily anger. I mean, she growls when she's happy too.
What is the difference between this album and the other ones?
When we made this album, I think that we wanted it to be really upbeat and to have a lot of rhythms in it. So we started out by messing around with some instruments like the marimba that we'd never messed around with before, and we wrote it a lot around I don't know. I feel like we wanted it to have kind of an anxious energy. So I think that rhythmically it's pretty different, and then also we kind of sat down and worked on it in one big push rather than working on it in little tiny pieces over the years and putting it together at the end. So it was sort of made to be cohesive and made to be a little bit more antic, a little bit more nervous and chattery.
Some of your music have a storytelling point of view. Is it your imagination or it's an autobiography?
A little bit of both. I think that a lot of the times the ideas for stories will be triggered by some event in real life. But sometimes the story is what would happen if I had done something different, or if I'd gone and done this, we have a song about showing up in somebody else's wedding photographs, which never really happened, but it was because I walked by a wedding and I was what would happen if I just went in and pretended like I belonged? we just try to become aware of everything that's going on. So whatever's happening, it's like, is that a song idea? Is that thing the beginning of the song? Is this like sentence that I read in a book? Like, is that where a song starts? And so I think a lot of it's just like kind of turning on to everything around you and like just picking out details and, you know, kind of like looking at them and saying like, is this going to grow into a song if I plant it? And a lot of the times the answer is no.
In 2006, you had the idea to put an EP out every month. How was that for you?
That helped us realize that one of the most important things for a band is to put out like new songs, you know, and not just have one album that comes out and just keep trying to push it. You know, you have to keep new things. I think we want to think of something cooler to do than just like album tour, album tour, album tour.
You're part of Nick and Nora's soundtrack. Mm-hmm. How was it in your career?
It was really, to shoot the movie, it was really fun.
Could you say you're a little bit of actors?
I mean, you could say that. I don't think either of us would say that. We've been in some movies.
Yeah. Justin's been in more movies than I have. Obviously.
It was fun to be in that movie.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I don't know how many other movies need Bishop Allen to play in them, but you will see.
That I just can't shuck.
I write right now, but that doesn't like give me like food or anything, so I don't live from it. I just got a job shining shoes that I'm starting next Tuesday. I just wear like whatever I have and that's it. This, Las Vegas. You know?
Today it's kind of crazy, and I've worn this 2 days in a row because I was lazy, but I think I'm a little bit of everything, some urban, some preppy. I guess I'm more of a mixer than a matcher, if that helps. I think we all kind of follow trends somewhat, like whether you're trying to or you're not. I guess the boots and the oversized shirt and some leggings, so 3 of them, but whatever it feels comfortable on me, I'll wear it. Maybe in the 80s, but it was the trend, so everyone was doing it, so I'm not so ashamed. But I just look back and I think it's funny, because I wasn't the only one doing it, so.
I just woke up and I don't try too hard at it, I guess. But pretty much I derive my style from everything I look at. I'm an artist right now. I do dabble in graphics. I dabble in tailoring. I do pretty much as eclectic as my style is my repertoire of skills.
A moda, ela reflete muito o que rola na música. Então hoje tá essa mistura dos anos 80, anos 70, tá meio que tudo misturado. Parece que a moda tá tentando chegar em algum lugar. Essa coisa da ombre, aquele ombro, né, mas que tá voltando, ó. Tá voltando. Acho que já tá quase indo, né? Já me vi, sim, vestida com peças que o David Bowie usaria. A própria Madonna, não vão rir de mim, não vale, mas é verdade. Não adianta dizer que não, que todo mundo já usou aquele cabelo pro lado, entendeu? Da Madonna, nos anos 80, quer dizer, todo mundo da minha idade. É natural, eu não acho que, vou usar o que a Madonna tá colocando ali no palco. É mais uma coisa da sociedade, é geral, né? Todo mundo acaba vestindo e não sabe nem por quê. Não é nem a roupa, é a atitude da pessoa que você não adianta, que não vai conseguir copiar e ser igual. Mas se acordar todo dia e ter aquilo como inspiração, você se sente melhor. É meio o efeito psicológico.
I kind of like to pull a lot of different things together and just make it a little more eclectic and kind of fun. So I think that's probably, I love the 80s.
How important is fashion on stage?
I think people kind of underestimate how important it is, because if you really want to be a rock star, you should just totally
go for it, you know. And I think like it makes the show just so much more exciting, and you know, I think fans really relate so well to it.
Ela é a mente criativa por trás do estilo da Karen O, vocalista da banda Yeah Yeah Yes.
I think we both just had kind of this equally like insane energy, and it just happened that they kind of complemented each other. I used to work at this store called Daryl K down on 6th Street, and Karen used to come in all the time, and this is before she was in the IAS or I was designing clothing, and we would just sit there and talk, and she would always talk about boys and all this stuff, and then one day she came in with a CD and said, "Hey, listen to my band," and I was like, ugh, God, I don't want to hear your band. Because, you know, a lot of people, I was like, yeah, you know, like a lot of people, like, you know, their bands are bad, and you're kind of like, great, now I have to listen to their band, you know, I just want to be friends. And then I happened to be making clothes at the same time, and she saw it, and she said, can you make this for the show that we're playing? And then they played the show, and I was like completely blown away. I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is what I've been waiting for, you know, all my life. And I mean, that was like 9 years ago.
So before you create a band, do you think you have to create an image?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think, you know, it's like you should have the talent and, you know, as much as possible.
And when you create something and you see Karen dressed in your costume, do you feel as if you're a part of the band?
Yeah, I'm kind of, yeah. It's exciting to look up and see her and, like, you know, see her in it, and she's rocking it out. It's like I'm always with her, kind of, in a way. I'm glad I don't have to be on stage. I want to you know, be as expressive as I can, and so people can look at me and be like, oh, okay, I understand why now, you know. When you're designing, you know, a line of clothing, it's like there's so much more you have to take into consideration, which isn't always fun, you know, at least not for me. It's like, you know, with Karen, it's like I have the freedom to do whatever I want. There's never a time where, like, I go in and she's like, oh, I don't like that, you know, like, there's none of this. It's just basically like, here's this costume I made for you, and she wears it, you know, unless it's like, you know, doesn't fit. If it's uncomfortable, she'll usually tell me about it, you know, she'll say like, you know, this is poking me, or you know what, she'll just rip it off, the costume, actually. It's like Mylar and plastic, and so when you put it on, it hurts really bad.
You have to hurt, otherwise it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no. She's always like, why are you trying to kill me? You're like, this thing hurts so bad. This one's probably my favorite one so far, and it's like, got this hood. It's all been like
three-dimensional heart.
Yeah, and it used to have intestines that came out so that she could pull them out and then put them into the audience, and the audience could pull the intestines.
What were you thinking when you created this? What was going through your mind?
I just, you know, this was like probably one of the first costumes that I actually had time to work on, because it used to be that, you know, she would kind of call me up at the last minute and say, you know, Christian, I need a costume for tomorrow.
Is there any artist that you would like to dress?
Yeah, I loved it. David Bowie's like probably my absolute favorite, you know, because it's just, he's had the best image. I mean, I feel like, you know, over the years his image has just been so amazing, and, you know, it's changed so, you know, so much, and he just always looks so cool. Band images and stuff that I think is the most important for me. Like, if I think about like punk, you know, I think of like all the clothes and stuff. And even though I love the music, it's probably more kind of like how the people looked or what they were doing and how they, you know, incorporate style, and, you know, that's probably actually more important than sometimes the music itself is.
I skateboard a lot. Straight up rock and roll, man. Right now I'm listening to the new Grizzly Bear. I'm always listening to The Who, but that's not new music.
I listen to a lot of Lil Wayne, 3-6 Mafia. Yeah, Dipset, Cameron, Joel Santana, New York rap. It's really good. I'm also into classic rock. I'm into everything. No qualms. And this shit's really good. I'm really into it.
Police didn't have a clue.
I'm from Florida and I'm 21. I think my dress is vintage.
I like doing what I want, where I want, when I want it, and I like going out in the morning, putting something up, you know. I don't want to ask people if it's okay. I think the illegal part is very important to this stuff. That's why I don't like getting permission. I don't really like what I do that much, so I'm not happy or anything. I think I keep doing it because I keep on wanting to get it right.
The day you think you got it right, and it's not fun anymore.
Since the police keep making me up my game, so I keep having to change what I do, then I never seem to get it right, or by the time I do get it right, I got to do something else. You know, it's ironic, right? Because there's more street art than ever, because it's so, people are so threatened by it.
So it makes the artist do it more instead of holding them up.
Yeah. So you guys gotta stay over here then, right? It takes me 15 seconds, and I just hope they don't see me. It's a risk every time I do it. It's a huge risk. Even today, it's a huge risk.
But you still have the adrenaline rushing through your veins.
It's a good thing, the adrenaline. I mean, the risk is part of this.
Dirty hands, dirty soul, bend over, dirty.
Tô preparando para correr. A polícia vai chegar.
The cops pick up fear, you know? It's sort of a ninja technique. So if you act like you know what you're doing or you belong there, you can do anything.
I've got to learn.
Yeah. If you look like you should have a ladder, you're invisible there.
It's always the balance that makes it good, though.
It is kind of a art of rebellion, so the more rebellious, the better. I think that's sort of the nature of art, is to be a correction to what came before it. Like Andy Warhol or Marcel Duchamp or Cezanne or everyone, the people I admire, you know, all rejected the past. So by doing street art, which is free, which means it can't be owned, it can't be bought, it can't be sold.
Eu fui a última a enxergar. E a arte de rua tem isso, você não olha, bem, você anda meio desconectado, você acaba não enxergando.
You know, we're rejecting a lot of the, you know, gallery money, you know, auction value kind of, you know, paradigm of art that's, you know, dominant now. I don't think, like, my street art looks good in galleries. It loses something when it goes indoors. It loses the concept. It loses the concept, but also it just seems sort of tame and housebroken and kind of embarrassed to be inside, I think. It just doesn't work. On the street, you know, you want to be accessible to as many people as possible, and humor's the way to get there.
Once you see like those legs standing on the, you know, on pose, it's just funny. It makes you laugh.
There's a prankish thing about doing this. You actually change the way people see, make them be awake, you know, like live their lives with their eyes open. They'll never notice there's a guy in there until they go close and they go, "What the fuck?" That's the reaction I'm going for. What the fuck is that? Oh, shit. There's a guy in there. Things we don't see because we're walking along every day looking at our phones, you know, which is how art keeps you awake, is you like go, "Oh, fuck, what's that?"
Yeah, I imagine like how people would react, like seeing the hands, you know, like coming out of
So then they keep their eyes open when they're walking around, and then they keep their minds a little open, hopefully, and then, you know, like George Bush can't torture people.
She had another lover, kept her in a cage. She had sold her future.
I'm a DJ. I'm bi-coastal though, so I got a little West Coast and I have a little East Coast. So, you know, a little layered look. And